Good evening from New York. I am Alicia Menendez in for Chris Hayes. The home of the 45th President of the United States has been raided by the FBI. That's according to the man himself, Donald Trump, who issued a lengthy statement just over an hour ago condemning an unannounced FBI raid on his Florida residence, Mar-a-Lago. This comes on.
You know what's crazy about this thing that I'm just now realizing? That if Donald Trump didn't say anything, we wouldn't know anything about this. This can't be legitimate. Like technically it can, but like how? It would make no sense. You have these FBI agents literally sneaking into Donald Trump's house, invading it, not just invading it, occupying it, and then refusing to say anything about it, announce anything about it publicly. So much of this is shady. This is the kind of thing that would have gotten Donald Trump impeached if he did this to a prospective candidate such as Joe Biden.
And tonight, it looks like federal agents were executing the next step in one of the investigations into the ex-president. The New York Times.
But exactly. You don't even know, and you're on their team. You're on the team. You don't even know their playbook.
Now reporting that this raid is related to classified documents Trump allegedly brought with him from the White House. Quote, the search, according to two people familiar with the investigation, appeared to be focused on material that Trump had brought with him to Mar-a-Lago, his private club and residence, after he left the White House. Those boxes contained many.
They're literally just putting forth a claim without explaining like what the basis of that claim is.
Many pages of classified documents, according to a person familiar with their contents. The ex-president released this statement tonight, quote, these are dark times for our nation, as my beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, is currently under siege, raided, and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. Nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before. After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate.
I do want to clarify the record. I don't know that Donald Trump has been particularly cooperative. Has he? I know some people in this camp have not been. I forget, Steve Bannon. He was kind of acting, maybe not shady, but dodgy. All I'm saying is, some people in Trump's camp have not really been that forthcoming with this whole situation. So I don't know how accurate it is to say that Donald Trump has been entirely cooperative with everything.
It is prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system, and an attack by radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024, especially based on recent polls, and who will likewise do anything to stop Republicans and conservatives in the upcoming midterm elections. Such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries. Sadly, America has now become one of those countries.
No, we're not one of those countries. We're a second world country. We're a first world country transitioning to a third world country, but we're not a third world country yet.
Corrupt at a level not seen before. They even broke into my safe.
I think that like him saying, like, they even broke into my safe, like, it's just like kind of comedic, because it's like the least concerning thing out of all of this. The main issue is that they broke into his house in the first place, not my money, because we all know that Donald Trump is so poor that breaking into one of his safes is gonna like absolutely financially wreck this man.
What is the difference between this and Watergate, where operatives broke into the Democrat National Committee? Here, in reverse, Democrats broke into the home of the 45th President of the United States. As you just heard, Trump himself admitted that he is cooperating with the relevant government agencies in this investigation. The ex-president is right about one thing. This is a truly unprecedented event. Ken Dilanian is an NBC News justice and intelligence correspondent.
I'm surprised that they're agreeing with Donald Trump so much on this. Like, I'm a righty. Like, I'm a right winger. And I am disputing the fact that Donald Trump has been cooperative with the authorities on this. He and his team have been very dodgy. And I'm surprised that NBC News is just taking what he's saying here at face value, because I am pretty sure there have been at least a few things where the government's asked Donald Trump for things, and whether legitimate or not, he's like, no.
That first of all, the president is in New York City today, so he was not present for this search. And that secondly, she has learned that the FBI notified the Secret Service a few hours before the search warrant was executed, and that the Secret Service facilitated their access to the Mar-a-Lago property as federal agents, but did not take part in the search.
Wait. What does that mean?
That is consistent with the protocol of how these things would go, where the former president, of course, has Secret Service protection, including protection at all his properties. So they have custody of the place. So they're not just going to let anybody in, but of course they're.
Oh, I see. So this was very peaceful then, I guess is what he's saying. Because Donald Trump is an ex-president, he has Secret Service guards. So what the guards did was everybody who was over there, they were all part of Trump's camp anyways. So the Secret Service, who's already around the people in Trump's camp, literally just yo, we are pushing you out. They pushed the people out, and then the FBI busts in. Maybe that's what he's saying happened.
Fellow federal law enforcement officers, the FBI, would call them up and say, we have a lawful warrant. We're going to execute this warrant at such and such a time. And that's apparently what took place with this development today. And again, just stepping back, this is a big deal. What this shows, obviously, is that the FBI was able to convince a judge that there was probable cause to believe that there was evidence of a crime and that evidence existed at this location. A big Fourth Amendment intrusion into someone's property.
What did he say? What? Wait a minute. Hold on. What? So MSNBC here is claiming that the FBI has violated the Constitution. This man right here just said that what the FBI has carried out is a violation of the Fourth Amendment. And the Fourth Amendment states, it's the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue.
Barry Tab said in the
But
chat,
upon probable
"That
cause
guy will
supported
never
by
be
oath
on
or
MSNBC
affirmation,
again."
and particularly describing the place to be searched in the persons or things to be seized." They're kind of going at the throat because MSNBC has sort of been criticizing and going after Joe Biden, but I was not expecting to hear him literally say that the Joe Biden administration has broken and violated the Constitution.
And again, just stepping back,
again.
this is a big deal. What this shows, obviously, is that the FBI was able to convince a judge that there was probable cause to believe that there was evidence of a crime and that evidence existed at this location, that they had to go and do this search, a big Fourth Amendment intrusion into someone's property.
Oh my goodness. Honestly, that really does make me happy though, that MSNBC is saying that Joe Biden violated the Fourth Amendment here.
And so it's coming in the context of this other set of investigations involving Trump and election election seeking to overturn the election.
Wait a minute. So this man is tying what he claims to be a constitutional violation from the Joe Biden administration to all of these investigations into Donald Trump. Is it possible that in the 2024 election, the mainstream media is going to completely flip their tune because they dislike Joe Biden so much? Because right now, you watch the mainstream media, you watch the left-wing media, maybe you don't, I don't blame you, but if you do, you probably have noticed that the mainstream media does not like Joe Biden right now. And by the time 2024 comes around, is it possible that they will completely change their narrative, saying that all of the investigations going into Donald Trump is a complete witch hunt, and use that to be incriminating, use that as something that's incriminating against Joe Biden, to say this man was abusing his power, this man was doing things that were completely unethical, and he even had his FBI take unconstitutional acts just in order to do this hit job.
Do we have a sense of the scope of what it is that they're looking for?
Well, we have.
That's the problem. You need to say what it is that you're looking for, why it is that you're looking for it, and what led you to believe that thing was there. The most we have is maybe some lady who went and posted some pictures of some pieces of paper in a toilet, said that they belonged to Donald Trump, and the FBI saw that and said, hey, we see scraps of paper in a toilet. You know what that means? We have to break into Donald Trump's house. And they just went full blast going after Donald Trump, which is, now that I think about it, is completely ludicrous and absolutely ridiculous. I still
Absolutely don't. It's a secret process. If they're generally, when there's a search warrant like this, they're.
And by the way, this is the sort of thing that leads to like reforms in the government like 8 years later. These sorts of events are what leads to those types of reforms, because the power that the government has is just so broad and overarching that eventually it gets very, very blatantly abused. And then the wheels and the cogs of the system slowly turn. And then we finally get change, trying to plug those holes in the system.
Generally, when there's a search warrant like this, an FBI agent will submit an affidavit to the judge describing everything that they're looking for. But almost surely in this case, that affidavit is sealed because this is a secret investigation. There will also be
Why is it secret? Why is it secret? The more that he's explaining this, the more that it seems like this is insanely shady. And if this is not shady, they are going out of their way to make this look shady. What in the world are they doing? They need to stop. They can even employ more strategies that could even make this more legit. Have some fake source somewhere being like, oh, I witnessed Donald Trump like do something like that. I mean, that's more credible than half the stuff that was going on during the January 6th show. So this is very sloppy too for something that's like completely illegitimate. This is bad.
Document filed that shows what the FBI took. Obviously, we're combing court records trying to find this stuff, but so far it doesn't appear to be on file. So no, we will not know for some time exactly what was taken unless the president wants to tell us. And it's possible because we learned when his lawyer.
Why doesn't the FBI tell us? It shouldn't be up to Donald Trump to tell us.
Doesn't appear to be on file. So no, we will not know for some time exactly what was taken unless the president wants to tell us. And it's possible because we learned when his lawyer Jeffrey Clark, his former election lawyer, was the target of an FBI and Inspector General search warrant. Clark then contested that warrant in court, and as a result of that, we learned that they seized his phone. So we may learn more about this. At the moment, we do not know what they took.
Again, speaking of statements from the president, I wonder what you make of this admission by the president that he and his team are cooperating with investigators.
I mean, I would take that with a complete grain of salt. There's been some reporting that his lawyers are in touch with the Justice Department. That makes perfect sense. I mean, he's got a lot of experienced lawyers who are going to want to reach out and find out what exactly the Justice Department wants with their clients, what questions they have, what actions they're taking. Whether he's cooperating is another matter. Has he spoken to investigators on any of these cases? We have no idea. So I think we should be very careful about any kind of statement to that effect.
A grain of salt that is always well reminded. Ken Dilanian, thank you as always.
Very good, very good, very good.
Said in the chat.